SEFIROT. And we stopped yesterday. Here's a pencil. Okay, we stopped yesterday on page Mem Gimel, or reading along at the top. Just getting an idea. Yesterday we saw some things. I can't remember what we did. We'll start a new one. So we're down at the bottom where it said V'chanira l'niyas daiti. So what were we talking about? He's going to pick it up here. Ki yesh b'zecha b'shtei kavanos. What are we talking about? He said b'shteicha b'mitios, and they're both the same. They're equal. So he says, what does that mean? So his ha'achas hi ki b'shavua rishon, the first week, nigbar l'kanes muach ha'chochma. So all of chochma comes in. So he says, Ubo kolulim kol sheva bechidas eruyas lehimatzeh toch hamuach hazeh. So then there's 7 bechidas within that muach. Hidecha betzog shehi hakula besocho. So that kol el besocho. So all of those 7 things have to be incorporated in chochma. So he says, what are they? They're the chochma of chochma, the bina of chochma, the das, chesed, gevurah, tiferes, and the malchus. Chabad chagtam. V'kula, and they're shaman, v'nim shalom b'muach ha'chochma, and all of them are found over here in the muach called chochma. 1 second. I'll make a little judgment here. Called chochma. Okay. V'chein al derek zera b'b'kol ha'shvua ashev sfiros and iskara. So it's like this on every 7 shviros has 7. Then he said the shenis. That's one way of looking at it. So that if you're dealing with chochma, then you're going to bring in chochma into each of the 7. V'chashenis he ki muach ha'chochma mispashit because sheves sfiros elo, that the mukas spell spreads into the all sfiros. So he says, what does he mean? He said ketzad. He says hine b'chochma mispashit chelek aravi lo. So chochma gets the portion that's fit for it. And then also you're going to see that and then there's min ha-chochma b'bina. The chochma of bina has a chochma also. And then also you're going to see that Zeranpin has the different spheres of Zeranpin, or the Tiferes, Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, and Malchus, all are going to get an aspect of chochma that's good, that builds it up. Al derek zecha b'kol ha'shvua asheva the Malchus, and it's like the same thing, all 7 until you get to Malchus. So then he says like this: V'hinei shtei pirushim elu heim hafkim zer b'zeh. So there are different ways of looking at it. V'efshar shnechem ke'echad tovim. So actually, really though, they're both maybe having it at the same time. They're both good. But we said the first pirush, this is the way we do it, is chochma, and the 7 different aspects of chochma. So he said, Tracy. So what I saw in my notes, so this is what I wrote down. Now he said, let me explain here now, and we're going to go just quickly through, or whatever, we're going to go through the weeks of Shavua Rishon. The Sachan called the Chochma, all different, the F different aspects of Chochma are going to receive a Tikkun. He says, Shavua Rishon, the Sachan called the Chochma, V'lchein Kusod Chavayah the Av, the Yudin, so therefore, the Moach itself is going to be Av, the Yudin. And then it's going to go like this. Just give me a second here. It's going to go like this. It's going to say, Shavua Sheni, Babina, and the Chavaya will be a Sag, and the Shavua Shlisha would be the Chasadim, Meshach Bedat, V'higo by the Mad Olofim, and the 4th week is going to be the Gevurah, the Das, V'higo by the Ben, the Hain. Shavua L'chamishi, Chesed, that goes the Chesed, V'hi, once again, going to be the Chavaya the Av. Shavua Shishi is going to be Havaya the Sag again, and like that, that's how it goes. Now it says Shavua HaShvi. Let's go to the Fathus, but Tiferes and Malchus is going to deal with 2 different spheros, or 2 different partsufim. Shnechem, but at both of them at the same time, Yachad. The Yos Devukim Ach Ba'ach Yachad, because to begin with, Tiferes and Malchus are one entity back to back. So since that's the case, they're going to be just the aspect of 1 week. So he's in other words, you do both of them in 1 week. So since they're 2 different spheros, then you should have 2 different chavayos. The ben keneged b'malchus the docher v'nuk. So now you have docher v'nuk, ma uben. So moving on. So then he says like this. So he says, od yesh kavana cheres. There's another kavana. V'gam ki hamitis. It's also true. V'inun hu ki hine b'kol moach, and every single moach. So what are the moachs? The moachim are Chabad. Hine b'kol moach or moach yesh sheva bechinos. Every moach has its own 7 bechinos. B'chein b'kol mida umida yesh sheva bechinos. Every mida has the same thing. Uganegdam heim sheva shavuos k'mo she'amar. So these become therefore 7 weeks, as we had stated. That I will explain. So he says, so sana shvua rishon is boyer shuchum memuach chochma. So here we see that it's the memuach of chochma. Ve'elu heim sheva b'chinosov. So these are its 7 aspects. V'da ki ein sidrim ata kamo belel Pesach, but the order in which I guess he means when the moach and moach are coming in is not going to be like Pesach. Because then they came in all at one time. But now what's happening is each one individually is coming in, starting with the lowest one. There's only the only difference. Rock, he said, rock, the only place where there's a difference is really in the fact that godless Rishon comes before godless Rishon. Let me read again. Rock shahakathas Rishon, niknas acher godless Rishon, avacha belel Pesach, but in real Pesach, niknas acher godless Sheni, comes in after godless Sheni. So it needs maybe less sweetening, I don't know. Let's see how it goes. So the reason we explained over there, who Kani is here. So the same idea, I guess you want to have sweetening there before you bring in the mochin of Kadas Rishon. Ein sorach atach rakshi kanes acher godless Rishon. So there, all you have to, only you need Kadas Rishon, a Godless Rishon, not a Godless Sheni too. And then it's lis acher Godless Sheni. So you don't have to put it off until after Godless Sheni. I'm sure there's more to be said about that, but we'll continue on. So he says, so this is the order. He says, Yom Rishon Chochma the Godless Rishon the Abbas. On the first day, you have the Chochma of Godless Rishon the Abba, who Koden the Ima, and in this case, Abba comes in first. Vihi Havaya the Av, and she is a Havaya the Av. So this is I guess this Moach, he calling it he. Yom Sheni Godless Rishon the Ima is going to be Godless Rishon of Ima. Vihi Havaya the Av, also Havaya the Av. Yom Shlishi Katnas Hasheni, Shem, which is the case, Shem Akadatam, Bibechinas Chamisha Osios Belvad Osiosov, and it's only seen in the sense of its 5 letters. So, it's actually 6 letters. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 letters. Bibechinas Chamisha Osiosov, in the case of these 5 letters by themselves. Kaniskar Le'el B'Leil, as mentioned up above, B'El Pesach. Yom Revi Gadlu Sheni the Iba Vihi Chavaya the Av once again. Yom Chamishi is Katnis Rishon finally comes in. Vihi Elokim the Yudin. Yom Shishi Rishimu the Gadlu Sheni. It's going to be just the impression of Gadlu Sheni, the Abba. Vihi Havaya the Av, and it's a Havaya the Av. Yom Shvihi Gadlu Sheni Atzmach the Abba Vihi Havaya the Av. Now that could be a lot to be talked about. I don't really think made a real big impression on me at this point. But we'd have to see it. Maybe in the Rishash it would make a better impression on me. Let's keep moving on. Now, coming to the second week, Shavuot Sheni, Kula B'Bina, is going to be the week of Bina. L'chein Kula B'Chavaya D'Sav. Yom Rishon is going to be the Bina, the Godless Rishon, the Abba, because he's saying he's going to go over it again and give me a better chance to understand to remember what's going on. The first day of every week apparently is going to be Godless Rishon, the Abba. V'hicha B'Vaya D'Sav. Yom Sheni, because it's Bina goes with Sag. Yom Sheni, Bina de Ima, the Godless Rishon. So then you come first, you go Abba, then you go Ima. Over here, via the Sag, and it's going to be a Sag. Yom Shlishi, Katner Sheni de Muach Bina, is going to be Katner Sheni de Muach Bina. V'hiakadatam, as we said before, but Bechinas Abayas, Hiyos Mistalkul Aim Gal, so that we're Mischal, in the sense that now it's going to be put into this concept of Aim Gal, which we said before is a little sweetening. Zochav Keniska, the Eir below Pesach, we mentioned that at Pesach night. The Yom HaRevi, Bina the Ima, the Godless Sheni, so on the fourth day is going to be the Bina, Bina the Ima, the Godless Sheni. So again, it's Abba Ima, the Havai the Sag. Yom HaMeshi, the fifth day, the Katnas Rishon, the Muach Bina, is going to be Katnas Rishon of Muach Bina. So then we call Katnas Rishon, because after Godless Rishon comes Katnas Rishon. V'hu Shem Elokim Demilui Hayin. So that's what that's going to be. Yom Shishi Rishimo the Bino, the Godless Sheni, the Abba, B'hira B'vaya the Sag. Yom Shvi, Gadol Sheni, Atzmacha, the Bina, the Abba, Ruhavaya shall Sag again. Now going on, and apparently he's going to go through the weeks, and we're going to get a chance to see how each week goes again. He says, Shavua Shlishi Kula B'chasada Dedas, B'kula B'chavaya Dema, Yom Rishon, Gadol's Rishon, the Chasada the Abba, B'hiravaya Dema. Yom Sheni, the next day, is going to be Godless Rishon the Chasadim the Ima. Vehi Havaya Dema. Yom Shlishi Katna Sheni the Chasadim. Vehi Akadatam. Ha'olah Shlosha Pa'amim Yavok, which we had that idea in the last one, but exactly what it means I don't remember. But it's a flow of some sort. Vehem Ayin He Osius, and that was the concept. If you put it together, I guess the Yaboks, put them all together, somehow you get, we went through that, I don't remember it though. V'heim 75 different letters over there, Kaniska was 74 or 75, and this had a kolel, something like that. Kaniska, the Erev B'kos Shlishi Delel Pesach, it has to do, I think, the gematria of Akadatam. Pesach, the Lel Pesach, it's Erev B'kos Shlishi Delel Pesach. Yom Revi, the fourth day, Shnei Chasadim are the Gadol Sheni. There you go. Gadol Sheni, the Chasadim the Ima, Buha B'vaya Dema. Yom Chamishi Katash Rishon, the Chasadim. Now you're bringing the Datham Rishon, the Chadev Ucha Elokim, the Olofim, which is the Elokim of Olofim. V'os Aleph the Milui Hates Yuri Yud Vav Yud. Yom Shishi, on the sixth day, Rishima Rabbeinu Begadol Sheni the Chasadim the Abba, V'hu Havaya Dema. Yom Shvi Gadol Sheni Atzma the Chasadim the Abba, V'hu Havaya Dema. Do you have the Rechovos HaNohar Siddur?
Yes.
In the first volume, the fatter volume, these things are contained in the chart that he has in that Siddur. It's easier to see that. I think that, I don't know if I'm organized to do that right now. Okay, so let me get organized and we'll look at those things also a little bit as he's going through it. So let's see, where do we go? I think we're on number Nun Vav. Where is that? Yom Revi, Gadol Sheni, the Chasadim, the Ima was going to be Gadol Sheni of the Chasadim, the Ima V'chovavaya Dema. Yom Chamishi Katnas Rishon the Chasadim. So then that's when you finally bring in the Katnas Rishon. V'chalokim the Olofim. V'os Aleph the Milui Hates Yuri Yud Vav Yud. Yom Shishi, Rishimo Shel Gadol Sheni. So now this is the Gadol Sheni, comes in at the very end, the Chassan and the Abba. V'ira B'vaya Dema, Yom Shvi Gadol Sheni, Atzma, the Chassan and the Abba. So this is actually the essence of it. V'ira B'vaya Dema, B'vaya Dema. Shvua Revi, Kulacha B'Gevuras Dadas. So the fourth week is going to be finally getting into the other, to the last muach, which is in this case the muach, the Gevuras Dadas. Kulacha B'vaya the Ben, and the whole thing, all of these are going to be bens because they're on the left side. Yom Rishon Gadlus Rishon the Gevurah the Abba. The first day is going to be Gadlus Rishon. V'hi b'chinat the Ben. Yom Sheni Gadlus Rishon the Gevuras the Ima. V'hu hi Abaya the Ben. Yom Shlishi Kater Sheni the Gevurah the Abba v'Ima. Both of them together. V'hi Akadatam b'b'chinat Cheshbon Ayin Dalod, which is its gematria, which is 74. Ayin Dalod. Yom Revi Gadlus Sheni the Gevuras the Ima. V'ira B'vaya the Ben. Yom Chamishi Katas Rishon the Gevurah. V'hu Shem Elokim the B'Cholofim. Os Aleph the Milui Hates Yura Yud Vav Daled. Yom Shishi, on the sixth day, then we get the Rishimo. Rishimo the Gadlus Sheni the Gevuras the Abba. V'hicha B'vaya the Ben. Yom Shvi Gadlus Sheni Atzbach the Gevuras Abba. V'hicha B'vaya the Ben. So, in the if you have it handy, I don't know if you have it handy, on page Yud in the Shash Siddur, he has the drawing. So here you could see, actually does it for us. So he says on the first, you could see up at the very top of it, it has 4 Shavuos, 4 weeks. Because this Sefer only covers 4 weeks. So therefore we're dealing with these mochim. So I haven't looked at the other to see what happens over there. So here he says on the first night, last night we did the 4th Sefirot, which we Gadlus Beis the Ima. So if you look at the nights, it goes Gadlus Rishon the Yasos. That's the male aspect. Gadlus Rishon the Tevuna. So that's male and female, goes Abba Ve'ima. Kat is based to Abba Ve'ima, both of them comes in at that time. Next one says Gadlus based the Ima, so first, once again, you do the Katnus of Abba first, and then Aviva. Then it says Katnus Rishon, the Yisrael Sabatavuna, after that comes in. So he said, brought in the 2 Katnuses, the Gadlus based the Ima. Katnus Rishon, the Yisrael Sabatavuna, and then the 6th night is Rishima, the Gadlus, and then on the 7th night is the Atzmos of the Gadlus. So we'll go back and get an idea. That's the pattern, and he basically did it for us. Let's look at the second column. So we did that. That was the second column. Let's look at the next one. He calls this, which he calls Gadlus Rishon the Yasos, Guard the Yasos. So we're dealing with the parts of Yasos, not the parts of Abba, but actually that's actually correct. And so we're dealing with that, the Vok of Yasos. The next day we're dealing with the Vok the Yasos, which is just the Vok. He says that's what it is. You're dealing with Yasos. Vok the Vok the Gar the Abba Ve'ima, so that you have the Voks. Now this needs more explanation for me. What he's doing, where he's moving from the Gar to the Vok, and now he's working on the Vok to the Vok when we got the Katnus base. Then we go to Gadlus base, and it's going to be the Gar of the Vok, the Abba Ve'ima. He's talking about, I guess, the Abba Ve'ima Eloyin. Katnus Aleph, Rishon, Katnus Rishon, the Yasos, he says is Vok the Vok, u Vok the Gar. It's all the Voks. Needs more explanation for me. Which is Yisrael Sabatavuna. And then he says on Leil Vav is going now back into the Rishimo again, the Gadlus base to Abba, because the Gadlus base of Ima already came in on the 4th night, so we're only dealing with Abba here. Comes in at the end, he's like sort of like the topping on the cake. He says it brings in the Rishimo, which is also called by the name of the Vok Dagar. So what's that mean? He says you're talking about the top part, but we're talking about Abba Ve'ima Eloyin, which represents, he says right down below in the second line, which represents the Gar. So we're dealing with the Gar to the Gar. Gar, and then the last one is Gar the Gar also. Gar, the Gar, the Abba Ve'ima, so it's the Gar of the Gar of the Gar. It's really at the very, very top place, which is the Atzmos of the Mochin. So we'll leave that for right this minute, and let's see, we have like 2 minutes. I don't know, I forgot where we ended up. Let's say we're on page Samach Gimel. I think that's where we're at. So he says, Shavua Chamishi, then what happens there? He Sfiras Chesed. So now moves to Chesed. So we did the Chabad, and now we're going to the Chag. Chesed V'Lechein, he Mamish, Dugmas, Shavua Rishon, because it's on the right line. Shechoysa B'Sfiras HaChochma. So it's going to be the same, and we'll see that when we get to it. So he says, and it says Shavua Shishi is B'Sfiras HaGevura. It's going to be with the Gevura. V'Lechein he Mamish, Kedugmas, Shavua Sheni, Shechoysa B'Bina. Shavua Shvi, so we come to the 7th week. Tzarek L'Kavein Bosh De Kavanos, we have to have 2 Kavanos here. Shavua Shlishi, Shavua Revi B'Yachad, you have to put them together. Ki Atach HaBechi B'Sod Tiferes, Keneged HaChasadim, Ub'Sod HaMalchus, which is on the backside, Keneged HaGevuros. So he said, going on, he said, "Who ki sibas knesses gadlus rishon the Abba kodem the Ima." So what's the reason why Abba comes in first? Let me see. I got this slightly off there. He says again, "Who ki sibas knesses gadlus rishon the Abba kodem the Ima." He lefi shekaven shebalel Pesach. Niknisucha b'kol hamochim said, since during the night of Pesach, that's when all the mochim come in. L'chein atach hisbik tam ahu. So therefore, now it's sufficient for this reason. Sheikonis atach agadus rishon the abba b'techida defishuhu or yoser godol. We're bringing in the bigger light, which is the light of Abba. Ubo nichlal moach ha'ima, and within it is the moach of Ima. Interesting how he says that. Moving on, let's say we're almost out of time. Gam inyan knesses katas rishon acher gadol sheni de'ima. So how is that? Where the katas rishon, you get in the gadol sheni de'ima first. He's a sivach and nizka the erev below Pesach is for the same reason we said before. Yehu dinim kashin v'shalo yisachro yisachzoch b'bacha b'tzonim, so that the kitzonim should not be able to get a hold of it. Einan niknasim ad sheikones gadol sheni de'ima. It doesn't enter until it enters in the gadol sheni de'ima, and then everything is sweetened up. Ve'ein soch yisacher ad knesses gadol sheni de'aba gam came, but you don't have to wait. That's sufficient. So it's not just that it's gadol rishon coming in, but it's gadol sheni also of ima that's coming in. And let's see, we could do a little bit more. So gam inyan hitztarchus shtei leilu. So why do you need 2 nights? Leil shishi v'leil shvi. So why are we doing this same thing that is godless sheni the Abba? Was it take 2 days? He said, so v'leil shvi the godless sheni the Abba. Hatam hu ki iker leil pesach choyse be'iker ha'arba b'kosa. So he says the main thing that took place on the night of Pesach was the drinking of the 4 cups. So what about the 4 cups? Shebechem nirmazim arba hamochin the ima, because this is ima coming in, and there was reference each one of the cups to the 4 mochin. V'gad l'sheni the Abba. So, but when we come to God l'sheni and Abba, lo niktasach rak derek remez cotton bein in the matzah. So then you only have a little bit of a reference to it in regards to the matzah. And that's after all the rest of the mochin come in. So therefore, you need 2 different lights. On the first night, it comes into Zer Anpin, and it's inside of the skull of Zer Anpin. Menicha b'katzas rosham, and in that entry, it leaves a little impression. V'velech l'sheni nikdas hu antzvach haknes, because it just comes in and makes an impression at the top. I guess it makes like a place, like a kli for it. So he can nizka the el haim sod leil shishi v'lo shvi. So this is the concept of the 6th day and the 7th day. It takes 2 different times for this big time godless to come in. Now, I'm not sure exactly how this fits together with what we're learning, but we'll read on and we'll try to fix it all, put it all together. Thank you for learning with me today.